there are wealthy people all around you. Let's find out how they got there. Welcome to Protégé Leadership Academy. I'm Rory Verrett, your host and mentor. Today, we're diving into the art and science of quietly building wealth. You know, there's a saying, the best kind of wealth isn't loud. We've all seen it, the flashy cars, the designer clothes, the look at me lifestyle. But let me tell you, the truly wealthy aren't the ones who flaunt it. In fact, their wealth is often understated, even hidden. They don't make noise, they let their assets do the talking. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy the fruits of your labor, but when it comes to building wealth, the quiet approach, focus, discipline, and intentional is far more effective in the long run. It's about creating lasting financial freedom without drawing attention to your success. So today, let's explore how you can quietly build wealth over time. And just so we're clear, the connection between your career and your finances is pretty obvious, right? If not, just imagine what you would do in your career if you won $2 million in the lottery. That's maybe not enough to retire if you're mid-career, but maybe enough to provide you with a cushion and change your career options. What would you do? Perhaps not your current job. And what job would you take if you lost all of your savings except $500? I'm guessing you'd make very different career decisions in that scenario too. I think you get the point. Your finances and your career are inextricably linked from the moment you start your career to the end of your career. And here on the Protégé Leadership Academy, I promised you that we're going to take a holistic look at career success. So here's the advice that I didn't take when I was early in my career. Let's start with this foundational truth. Building wealth doesn't require taking huge risks or making complex decisions. In fact, the path to true financial freedom is usually the simplest one. Consistency, discipline, smart financial habits. Those are the keys. Today, we're going to talk about 5 core strategies to help you grow your wealth. Number 1, investing in index funds. Number 2, developing a second or third stream of income. Number 3, maximizing your 401k contributions. Number 4, living below your means. And number 5, mastering your craft. Let's start with index funds. They might not sound exciting, but they're one of the best tools for quiet wealth building. Index funds are mutual funds or ETFs that track market indices like the S&P 500. Here's why they work. Diversification. By investing in an index fund, you're automatically diversifying your portfolio, lowering risk, and spreading your investment across hundreds of companies. 2, low costs. Index funds are known for their low fees compared to actively managed funds. Number 3, consistent returns. Historically, the S&P 500 has delivered an average return of about 10% per year. That's steady, reliable growth. Take the Vanguard 500 S&P ETF, for example. With nearly $632 billion in assets, it's the largest ETF in the world, and over time, it's proven to be a solid performer. Now let's look at some numbers. Over the past decade, S&P 500 index funds have average returns of around 10% per year. And with a low expense ratio of just 0.03%, your returns aren't getting eaten up by high fees. That's the power of quiet, consistent growth. No drama, just steady progress. Now, let's talk about diversifying your income. Relying on a single paycheck? That's way too risky. By having multiple income streams, you increase your financial security and accelerate wealth building. Here's how to do it. Side businesses. Whether it's freelancing, consulting, or e-commerce, a side hustle can provide an additional source of income. 2, passive income. Consider investments like rental properties or dividend stocks. And number 3, skill development. Upskill to create new opportunities or take on higher paying projects at your job. Studies show that people with multiple income streams reach financial independence faster than those with just one. Quiet wealth means not depending on one source, but by building layers of income that work for you. Next is a 401k. A 401k is one of the most powerful tools for quietly growing your wealth over time. Why? Tax benefits. Contributions reduce your taxable income, allowing you to keep more of your money. An employer match. That's free money that you shouldn't leave on the table. Compounded growth. Earnings grow tax deferred, allowing your money to work for you. In 2024, U.S. 401k plans held over 8.9 trillion in assets. In 2023, they saw returns between 17.5 and 18%. If you have a 401k at work, make sure you are maxing it out, especially if there's an employer match. That is quiet wealth at its finest. More than 90% of employees participate in 401k plans, and many plans even offer options like Roth 401ks, which allow tax-free withdrawals in retirement. Whether it's a traditional or Roth, maximizing this tool is an excellent way to build wealth without showing off. Okay, here's rule number 4, living below your means. The foundation of quiet wealth is living below your means, having more money coming in than is going out. Here's why this strategy works. More savings. When you spend less than you earn, you've got more money to save and invest. Financial flexibility. You're less likely to be dependent on external factors like job security or market fluctuations. Investment capital. By living frugally, you can build up a reserve that can be used to seize investment opportunities when they arise. Households that save at least 20% of their income are far more likely to reach financial independence sooner. So focus on saving and investing rather than just spending. The way I finally learned how to live below my means was to think about my finances like a diet. There's no way I could go cold turkey and deny myself the occasional cheat day of buying some cool gadget or clothes. So I picked one area to indulge, to cheat on my financial diet, and I budgeted carefully in those other areas. To build quiet wealth, you need to master your craft. Whether you're a consultant, an engineer, an artist, or a startup entrepreneur, being exceptional at what you do is one of the surest ways to grow your income. Here's how. Continuous learning. Keep improving your skills. The more you know, the more valuable you become to your clients and your company. Networking. Build strong professional relationships. Networking can unlock new career and investment opportunities. Performance excellence. Strive to be the best in your field. Excellence leads to higher salaries, more promotions, and more financial stability. People who invest in their professional development are 48% more likely to advance in their careers. And with that advancement comes more opportunities for wealth building. Okay, so that's the stuff you should do to build quiet wealth. Let's talk about the stuff you shouldn't do. Avoiding the big dollar mistakes in your career and in your finances, it's hugely important. Number 1, buying too much house. This is something that almost always happens to successful professionals in their 40s. You bought your starter home and maybe you feel like you've outgrown it. And now in your junior decade, you're making some serious money. So what happens? You decide to buy the 5,000 square foot house. And I'm not talking about theory, I'm talking about facts. I did this in my early 40s. With only one child, my wife and I thought it'd be a great idea to buy a 5,200 square foot home in Montclair, New Jersey. From her bedroom, my daughter had an unobstructed view of the Manhattan skyline. We lived down the street from talk show host Stephen Colbert, investment banker Carla Harris, and across the street from Michael Strahan's old home. We had some amazing parties there too. Yeah, we also had a $1,000 a month heating bill. It cost $2,500 in the spring to prep the lawn. It cost $2,000 to bag 125 bags of leaves on our 1-acre property. And the property taxes were $3,000 a month. Oh, and the renovations we did on this home cost $30,000 every year. Everything was Gucci for that first barbecue we gave, and we loved walking back and forth to Whole Foods for those grocery runs. But after 2 years in that house, we vowed never again. Because here's the big facts. Nobody cares about how big your house is. Fun fact, somebody's got a bigger house, and nobody cares about theirs either. Another big dollar mistake is buying new cars and not used cars. I bought a new car twice and I vowed I'm never doing that again. As you may know, a car loses about 30% of its value in the first 3 years. We almost always buy cars coming off of a 3-year lease. I know that the car has been well taken care of, has low miles, and is under warranty. And you can get a nearly brand new car for almost 1/3 of the new car price. So save your money, buy used. Number 3, divorce. I get it, this is not something that you plan, but this is my OG advice to think carefully about your choice of spouse or if you should get married altogether. I'm talking beyond the normal consideration that you give before you get married, to exercise every option to stay together once you get married. Divorce is not only emotionally taxing on the spouses and children, it's also devastating to your finances, lawyers, settlement agreements, sales of property, and divisions of assets. You lose more than half in a divorce, so think carefully about your behavior during your marriage and your decision to stay together with intention, prayer, and due consideration. The consequences of divorce can be devastating on many fronts, including your finances. Big dollar mistake number 4, developing more than one expensive lifestyle habit. Listen, I love nice things, clothes, cars, travel, golf, wine. I don't exactly have an inexpensive lifestyle and a set of tastes, but I've learned to be a value consumer. To be honest, I want it all, but I'm also reasonably frugal. Early in my career, I made the mistake of having multiple expensive lifestyle habits. I liked Davidoff cigars. I liked high-end country clubs. I liked foreign travel. I liked nice clothing. I flew first class for over 10 years on my client's dime, and I convinced myself that I needed all the trappings of an affluent lifestyle. Wrong. As a result, I spent and, in my opinion, wasted a lot of money in my 20s. I still like nice clothes. I wear a lot of Ralph Lauren, but I buy most of it from vintage clothing stores and, if new, always via their annual sales in December. I like golf, but I now play at a private oceanfront club in Lisbon for less than $4,000 a year. I'm the founder of a wine club here in Lisbon, and I love a good glass of Pinot Noir, but I've learned how to find the values in wine like everything else. And for my wine nerds, I know how to find the premier cru in the Côte de Beaune and skip the Grand Crus in the Côte de Nuit. I used to fly first class in my 20s and 30s because clients were picking up the tab. Now, if I have to pay for it, no ma'am. My 5'9" frame fits nicely in coach. I am happy to be in Group 7. So I'm not encouraging you to live some monk-like lifestyle. I would be a hypocrite. I love a good Hermes scarf, a Ralph Lauren leather newsboy coat, and a Gucci loafer. But I buy as a value consumer. Finding the incredible deals becomes part of the fun. Like those $675 Barrett double monk strap Vibram sole shoes I got for $70 at a vintage clothing store. Number 5, my last point about the big dollar killer is this one: keeping up with the Joneses. In case you haven't noticed, the Jones are broke. They have bad credit. They're cash poor. They won't be able to retire when they want to. A lot of folks who flaunt their wealth are nouveau riche. They grew up poor, and the first minute they get some money, they spend it so that everybody around them knows we just got money. I have friends who make $10 million a year, and you wouldn't know it. I have a couple of friends who are worth north of $100 million, and unless you visited the vineyard they owned or the compound they have in New Zealand, you'd think they were just middle-class folks trying to get a chai latte in Starbucks in front of you. And here's the absolute truth: nobody cares about your financial situation. Live the life you want on the terms you want and forget about everybody else. I would casually estimate that a solid 80% of my friends from college and law school are millionaires, and a solid half of them are multimillionaires. And for the overwhelming majority, to quote Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. So remember, building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. Stick with it, stay patient, avoid the unforced financial errors, and your future self will thank you. And plus, you don't really want a lot of consumer stuff from the hard work in your career. Take it from an OG. What you really want is to be in financial control of your life. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more career tips. Drop a comment below. What's your #1 strategy for building quiet wealth? That's today's episode. I'll see you next week on the Protégé Leadership Academy.